Jennifer, do you think Diddy should go to jail? Will you be a witness in his case? What are your thoughts on the situation? The alleged crimes involving Diddy are making headlines in the true crime world today. Hi, I'm Julie Grant, and it's clear that many are paying attention to the celebrities connected to this case.
Jennifer, do you think Diddy deserves to be in jail? Are you gonna be Diddy's witness, Jennifer? Are you gonna be Diddy's witness, Jennifer? You think he deserves to be in jail, Jennifer?
The alleged crimes of Sean Diddy Combs are what's trending in true crime this morning. Welcome back. I'm Julie Grant. Many people are noticing the celebrity associates who are not speaking out.
Jennifer Lopez has opened up about her tough breakup with Diddy, describing it as one of the hardest moments in her life. She shared in an interview how bad things got, saying she had a nervous breakdown, feeling completely unable to move, talk, or do anything. Some believe her role in the movie Enough was inspired by her tumultuous relationship with Diddy, known at the time as Puff Daddy, and J-Lo started dating in 1999, when both were at the peak of their careers. Diddy was a powerhouse in the music industry, while Lopez was rising to fame in both Hollywood and music. Together, they were one of the biggest power couples of the time, regularly appearing at major events like the MTV Video Music Awards and the Grammys. However, their relationship wasn't all glitz and glamour. It was also filled with tension and drama, with rumors swirling around Diddy's lifestyle. His extravagant parties, often filled with celebrities, drugs, and criminal activity, became part of the public's perception of their relationship.
J-Lo finally speaks out about her relationship with Diddy.
Just one of those breakups that really, it was like a tough one for me.
Bye, boy to him.
Things were allegedly so bad that J-Lo had a nervous breakdown. In the interview, she said, "I was like, I don't want to move. I don't want to talk. I don't want to do anything. I had a nervous breakdown." It's speculated some of the movie Enough is inspired by her relationship with Diddy.
What do you...
Despite the drama surrounding them, Diddy and J-Lo continue to stay in the public eye, seemingly unaffected by the controversies. One of the most infamous incidents in their relationship happened in December 1999, when they were involved in a nightclub shooting in New York City. After a confrontation between Diddy and another man, Matthew Scar Allen, shots were fired, leaving 3 people injured. Diddy, Lopez, and Diddy's bodyguard fled the scene but were later arrested. Lopez was held for 14 hours, though she was never charged. Diddy, however, faced more serious issues. Police found a stolen gun in the car they had fled in, and Diddy was accused of illegally possessing the firearm. Eventually, he went to trial along with his bodyguard and rapper Shine, who was also linked to the shooting.
This whole Diddy situation. Now reports are coming out about the time he dated J-Lo, aka Jennifer Lopez, and allegedly Will Smith and his wife wanted to have a threesome with Jennifer? I don't even know. Here's the report. So while on the set of Jimmy Kimmel's show back in 2023, the host nudged Sean Diddy Combs to discuss rumors about Will Smith and Jada Smith attempting to basically have a threesome with Lopez. Kimmel asked, "When you were dating J-Lo, Will Smith and Jada tried to pick her up on a threesome and you were gonna beat up Will Smith. Is that true?" Diddy said, "You really heard that?" Nah. Then Kimmel admitted that he seen it online and joked, "You're telling me I can't believe everything I read, ha." And Sean Combs jokingly played along saying, "What? I don't know what you're talking about." Fans commented, "The rage in his eyes." Another said, "Weird things going on in Hollywood, I wonder why." Basically, people are saying that even though they were joking about it, right? Apparently when Diddy was asked about it, a lot of people could tell that it angered him. Like, Kimmel was like, "Hey, Will Smith and Jada tried to have a threesome with your girl." And then allegedly he just looked mad. I don't know. So maybe it's true. I mean, Will Smith and Jada, they be on some freaky stuff, bro. Like Jada Pinkett, that woman is embarrassing, humiliating, and talking down about her man 24/7. Like seriously, if we're talking about Jada now, that woman embarrasses Will 24/7. No joke. But I don't know. Whatever. There's the report.
Rapper Shine was convicted and sentenced to 10 years in prison, while Diddy was acquitted of all charges. The nightclub shooting marked a turning point in Diddy and Lopez's relationship. Although they stayed together for a little while after the incident, the tension was clear. By 2001, they had broken up, ending one of the most talked-about relationships of the early 2000s. Now, with Diddy facing federal charges, questions are being raised about whether other high-profile celebrities were aware of or involved in his alleged criminal activities. As Diddy's ex-girlfriend, Lopez's connection to him is once again under the spotlight. She was often seen by his side during their relationship, and now, with a renewed attention on Diddy, questions about her past have resurfaced. In her 2024 documentary, The Greatest Love Story Never Told, Lopez reveals that some of her past relationships, including with Diddy,
someone who destroyed my life.
Former rapper Moses Shine Barrow is speaking out in the wake of Sean Diddy Combs' arrest and federal indictment.
In her documentary, The Greatest Love Story Never Told, Lopez recalls a conversation with a therapist who asked what she would tell her daughter if she were in an abusive relationship. Lopez admitted it would be easy to tell her daughter to leave, but for herself, it was more complicated, describing it as like looking through fog. She went on to describe some of the abuse she experienced, saying, "I was never in a relationship where I got beat up. Thank God. But despite the serious charges against Diddy, Lopez's name hasn't appeared in any recent legal filings or court documents related to the case." Former prosecutor Ava Sullivan suggested that federal authorities could eventually seek to interview Lopez as part of their investigation into Diddy. While there's no public indication she's been questioned, Sullivan noted that Lopez might hold valuable information about Diddy's activities during their time together. If she witnessed any illegal behavior, Lopez could play a key role in the investigation. The plot thickened when Diddy's former producer, Rodney "Rod" Jones, claimed in a civil lawsuit that Diddy had once bragged about the 1999 nightclub shooting. According to Jones, Diddy suggested that Lopez had passed him the gun before the shots were fired. Though these claims haven't been proven, they have sparked renewed interest in Lopez's potential involvement. At the time of the shooting, Lopez distanced herself from the incident. She was detained by police but quickly released without charges, and the public generally accepted that she had no major role in the crime. However, with Diddy now facing serious allegations, including running a criminal enterprise, some are wondering if the nightclub shooting will be revisited as part of the ongoing investigation.
Jennifer Lopez and her team are currently on high alert and having crisis talks amidst the Diddy scandal. Jennifer is said to be on high alert since Diddy has been charged, as they think that a previous case that involved her could be reopened. According to sources, Jennifer is weighing up breaking her silence on her arrest with Diddy in 1999 over an incident with 3 people outside the Times Square club where shots were fired. Jennifer was cleared and released after spending 14 hours in custody, but fans suspect there is more to the case than what was initially reported at the time. One of the victims remained adamant that it was Diddy who pulled the trigger and suspected that a man took the fall for Diddy because of his fame. During an assault lawsuit in February, Rodney Jones claimed that Diddy was boasting on the night of the incident that Jennifer had carried the weapon into the club so Diddy could commit the crime. Fans are expecting the case to be looked at in more detail as Diddy's trial continues and suspect that Jennifer may be dragged into it. It seems that Jennifer and her team feel the same way, with sources saying that there were crisis talks this week about whether or not Jennifer should try and get ahead of the speculation by commenting on it.
Sources say Lopez and her team have been in crisis talks, likely worried that the nightclub shooting and other incidents from Diddy's past could resurface and affect her career.
Right, so big news out of New York, where P. Diddy has been held for more than a week in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. This comes after Diddy's arrest last Monday, following his indictment by a federal grand jury on charges of racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. The 14-page indictment lays out some pretty strong claims against Diddy, alleging he's guilty of sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. The indictment goes on to allege Diddy showed a pattern of abuse, mostly against women, that included verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual abuse, including the use of extensive grooming tactics. There's also mention of something referred to as freak-offs, which are described as elaborate and produced sex performances that Combs arranged, directed, masturbated during, and often electronically recorded. During these so-called freak-offs, Diddy would often drug his victims, sometimes without their knowledge, to keep them obedient and compliant. Then, Diddy allegedly required these victims to have sex with prostitutes, and oftentimes he recorded that too. Again, these recordings were made without the victim's knowledge or consent. These freak-off sessions were facilitated by Diddy's associates, that the indictment refers to as part of the Combs enterprise. These associates would procure the sex workers, book the hotel rooms where these freak-offs would take place, and stock the rooms with necessities like baby oil and lube.
If new evidence were to surface suggesting that Lopez helped smuggle a gun into the nightclub, it could lead to serious legal consequences, even though the events happened more than 20 years ago.
There were people in my life who said I loved you and then didn't do things that were kind of in line with the word love.
A bit later in the film,
one of the most striking things about Diddy's current legal troubles is the silence from many celebrities who have been linked to him, including Jennifer Lopez. This silence is in stark contrast to other high-profile cases, like Harvey Weinstein's, where celebrities quickly distance themselves from the accused and voice support for the victims. Experts, including prosecutor Ava Sullivan, suggest that this silence could be a strategic move. Celebrities may be afraid of public backlash or being seen as guilty by association.
I mean, I was never in a relationship where I got beat up, thank God, but...
however,
news about Diddy's arrest could reopen old wounds from the nightclub shooting and force Lopez to confront her past with him. Any statement she makes could be used against her in court if she's called as a witness, or if prosecutors decide to revisit the case. The victims of the 1999 nightclub shooting haven't forgotten what happened. One victim, Natana Rubin, who was shot in the face, has been outspoken about her belief that Diddy was responsible. In 2011, Rubin filed a lawsuit against Diddy, which was eventually settled out of court, but she still strongly advocates for justice. She believes Diddy escaped punishment due to his fame and influence, saying, "There's no doubt in my mind."
Our record executive and convicted felon Suge Knight believes the rumored impending divorce between Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck is the result of Lopez's appearance in the tapes the FBI seized in the raid on Sean Diddy Combs' home. In a new episode of his prison podcast, Collect Calls with Suge Knight, he claims that the FBI may have confiscated tapes from the raids on Diddy's mansions earlier this year. And some of those tapes include Jennifer Lopez. He said, recalling her involvement in the 1999 nightclub shooting where Moses Shine Barrow took the fall for Diddy, that they go raid Puffy's house and they get all these videos of J-Lo doing this and J-Lo doing that. And they know the fact that J-Lo lied and said that the firearm was Shine's or whatever and sent that man to prison, destroying his life. And she knew it was Puffy's.
Shine, who served nearly a decade in prison for his role in the shooting, has expressed bitterness over the incident. He believes Diddy betrayed him by shifting the blame to him, leaving Shine to face the consequences. Despite their troubled past, Shine has since reconnected with Diddy, mainly for business opportunities and to seek scholarships for his home country. Still, his story serves as a powerful reminder of the lasting consequences of that night.
Jennifer Lopez had to do was marry a white boy, Oscar winner, for people to stop remembering that she had a gun in her pocketbook. She had gunshot residue on her hands the night that Natanya was shot at that club. Not once has she spoken up for the betterment of that woman or say something in her defense to stop Puffy from gaslighting her and trying to put hits out on her because he was afraid that maybe one day they would open the case and she still has the bullet fragments in her face. Like J-Lo has said nothing. You really thought that just running off and marrying Ben Affleck was going to take you out of the Diddy downfall?
As Diddy's legal troubles continue, there's increasing concern that Jennifer Lopez could suffer reputational damage if her name becomes more connected to the investigation. While there's no direct evidence linking Lopez to Diddy's alleged crimes, public perception can be hard to control. If she's even remotely implicated, it could harm her carefully built image as a beloved entertainer and successful businesswoman.
I'm hearing this morning is that we've gone from just shaking in the boots to sheer panic. As you said in your opening statements, Julie, the silence is deafening, especially from longtime associates of Diddy, such as J-Lo, who dated him for a very long time in the early 2000s, Usher, who was one of his proteges, along with Justin Bieber. These are people that had firsthand accounts and experiences with this man, and they are quiet. And the reason being is They don't know what part of their experiences are on those tapes that the FBI has and what they got during those raids. They don't know if it was criminal or just a part of whatever, their adult consent, pleasure, whatever you want to call it. But what they're worried about now is their own brand, their own empires, their own career. And if they had any part of planning or any part of knowing about the minors or the sex workers there, they're going to be in big trouble as well.
One of the most striking things about Diddy's current legal troubles is the silence from many celebrities who have been linked to him, including Jennifer Lopez. This silence is in stark contrast to other high-profile cases, like Harvey Weinstein's, where celebrities quickly distance themselves from the accused and voice support for the victims. Experts, including prosecutor Ava Sullivan, suggest that this silence could be a strategic move. Celebrities may be afraid of public backlash or being seen as guilty by association.
There's no doubt in my mind who shot him.
You have said since really right after the shooting that it was P. Diddy who shot you.
I was standing by the front door. I watched the entire thing out. I had no reason to believe that it would escalate to a shooting. It was just male machismo and bravado at first. A lot of pushing and shoving, raised voices, hands, but then I saw them reach in their waist and draw from their hip. And I knew. I instantly turned to my friends and told them, be careful, watch out. And when I turned back, I know, and I've said over and over, I've heard the voice of God said, you are about to be hit. Calm down. And as I said no, I looked straight forward ahead and I watched the muzzle flash from both of their guns and I felt the impact to my face instantly. J-Lo testified at the grand jury, as did many other people. It needs to be reopened because if that is in fact the case, she carried the gun in and she lied to the grand jury.
Shine, who served nearly a...
Despite the drama surrounding them, Diddy and J-Lo continue to stay in the public eye, seemingly unaffected by the controversies. One of the most infamous incidents in their relationship happened in December 1999, when they were involved in a nightclub shooting in New York City. After a confrontation between Diddy and another man, Matthew Scar Allen, shots were fired, leaving 3 people injured. Diddy, Lopez, and Diddy's bodyguard fled the scene but were later arrested. Lopez was held for 14 hours, though she was never charged. Diddy, however, faced more serious issues. Police found a stolen gun in the car they had fled in, and Diddy was accused of illegally possessing the firearm. Eventually, he went to trial along with his bodyguard and rapper Shine, who was also linked to the shooting.
Shine finally speaks about that incident. He has avoided it. He always talks around it, but not anymore, based on this report coming in from Belize, and we have his interview on tape. For the past few weeks, dark allegations and civil lawsuits have swirled around American entertainment mogul Sean Diddy Combs. And one name that keeps coming up is Shine Barrow. And of course it would. He served nearly 10 years in a U.S. prison for shooting in a Manhattan nightclub where one woman was shot in the face. That woman has constantly claimed and now vocally restating that it was Diddy, not Shine, who did it. Barrow has refused to speak about it at his last press conference in late March, and he says he has declined dozens of requests from international press to discuss it, and he declined again during this press briefing. But at the end of it, he conceded to make some comments, his first since Diddy's name became immersed in the scandal. And without further ado, I present that interview right here.
Name became immersed in scandal.
It opens wounds. When you hear, the victim saying that it was Diddy that shot her. That is what is the most remarkable. Oh, you didn't see that?
I saw that.
Okay.
As Diddy's legal troubles continue, there's increasing concern that Jennifer Lopez could suffer reputational damage if her name becomes more connected to the investigation. While there's no direct evidence linking Lopez to Diddy's alleged crimes, public perception can be hard to control. If she's even remotely implicated, it could harm her carefully built image as a beloved entertainer and successful businesswoman.
You have to imagine there were people who were part of this and witnessed this. In fact, the government said that they interviewed over 50 witnesses and victims. But there is one name on that celebrity list that is standing out in particular right now. Jennifer Lopez, J-Lo. Why? Well, long before Combs was criminally charged, long before he was hit with multiple lawsuits accusing him of sexual assault, He dated the famous pop star and actress, reportedly from 1999 to 2001. Their first public appearance was September 1999 at the MTV Music Awards, and then the following year, when they were together, was where she wore that infamous Versace green dress at the Grammys. The couple were on red carpets together. They went to Combs' famous white party together. Big A-list couple. In fact, there is a photo of them together lying in a white bed with giant pillows, and in another photo, they're in that same bed with other people.